guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm sharing with you my record collection. As of right now, my collection has 11 vinyls in it and I am so in love with every single one of them. Can't wait to share them with you. I love collecting vinyl. All of the albums that I do have are newer albums. They're not kind of vintage original vinyl records, but I love all of them and I was just gonna share with you the albums I love, what's on my wish list, because I do have a vinyl wish list, as well as just some of my favorite. I love vinyls. I've been collecting now for probably about 2 years or so, and I love it. I love getting a new one. I love listening to the album from start to finish. I love that it's just kind of the original. You get to hear the whole album the way that the artist originally intended it, which I think is really cool. I just love the feel of putting on a good vinyl and making a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and getting cozy. I love like reading while I'm listening to my vinyls, or I'll put it on if I'm doing something like editing that I don't need to be really paying attention to the music. And I just feel like the vibes when you listen to a vinyl are so different than when you're listening to music on your phone or on Spotify or something like that. I do, for the most part, listen to Spotify mostly. When I find an album that I am absolutely in love with, I will get the vinyl for it now. And that's actually a recent addition that I've started doing, is once I fall in love with an album, then I'll buy the vinyl. That way I know I really love it, so I don't end up having vinyl records that I never listen to or play. This is my vinyl collection. I have almost every single Taylor Swift album on vinyl. The only one I am missing currently is Speak Now and her newest album, For Lover. The vinyl for that looks so cute. I've already pre-ordered it. All right, let's get started. So I have a couple artists that I really love the sound of their music on vinyl, and I really think the vibe of their music just sounds so good on vinyl. One of those artists is Kacey Musgraves. I love Kacey's music because she just has, it's just got a good vibe. It's a very chill vibe. All of her albums just tend to have very heartfelt lyrics. I'm so much of a lyrics person. So the first one I picked up by Kacey was the Same Trailer, Different Park album. So this one is one of my favorite albums that she has released. I listen to it all the time. I actually think I discovered her music, let's see, when would that have been? Back in 2014, I think, is when I first started listening to her music. And Same Trailer, Different Park has by far been one of my favorite albums that she's come out with. I love that she, especially like just the artwork on this is so chill. Just has such, like, I love cacti and I just love the vibe of this whole album. Like, it kind of reminds me of when I was in Arizona, and that was one of my favorite trips. So one thing I will say, I was a little bummed that this didn't come with any insert. There was no sheet on the inside of this. It was just the actual vinyl. I will say though, I do love when a vinyl only has two sides. Sometimes if there's two vinyl records included, which I'll show you that in a minute, I don't like it as much because you have to flip it more often. Like, I like this, that you basically get the whole album and you only have to flip it once. I just think it's easier that way because then I don't get distracted. There's sometimes if I'm doing something and I'm listening to a vinyl that my vinyl will just stop playing and it'll just sit there on for a really long time until I notice that my music isn't playing anymore. That is probably one of the favorite vinyls that I have, is the Same Trailer, Different Park. Now the other one I just recently got this summer, I got it from Urban Outfitters. It was her Golden Hour album. So this is again by Kacey Musgraves. I love this album. It was such a good album to help me through a breakup. I just absolutely loved it. With this one, I do like that there was a little bit more artwork on the inside and it was really just a track list, but I did like it had all that on there. I love that it's just like a clear vinyl. I think that looks so cool when you're playing it. I don't know, I love it. The other thing that I really love about this vinyl is the inside. So when you open it, I love this whole thing that she has written here. Taylor Swift always really writes a really awesome intro to the album, and I feel like this really reminded me of it when she kind of did this little note leading into the album. I just love reading that type of stuff because I feel like you really get a feel for where the artist was at the time that they created it. But this album was really good as post-breakup slash finding yourself kind of an album. Really, really love this album. I played this a lot, especially this summer. So Golden Hour and then this vinyl are the two newest ones that I bought. I bought both these this summer. This is Mumford & Sons, I No More. I will say I love Mumford & Sons on vinyl. Like, I am not one to purposely seek out their music on something like Spotify, but they sound so good on vinyl. It really sounds just so chill. It's such a mood. I am obsessed with it. I think this is such a cool photo for the vinyl cover. I love that it's just a side A, side B. I haven't listened to this one a ton, honestly. I feel like I kind of have to be in a really chill mood to put this one on. And this is one that I would play more so when I am trying to get work done and I'm trying to kind of be productive. I like listening to albums that I don't know all the words to when I'm trying to be productive. If I know all the words, I get really into the album and I start getting distracted from what I'm actually supposed to be doing. This album's a good kind of chill vibes, just getting work done kind of a mood. This album is one of my all-time favorite albums, which is so funny because I don't actually regularly listen to her music. Pure Heroine by Lorde, such a good album. The only thing that I don't like about this album is I feel like for whatever reason, and I don't know if it's just this particular copy that I got, but it really does not stay closed, and this gets caught all the time in my record holder. I know know that's such a basic thing. I pay attention to it every single time I take this record out. I love that the inside is so on brand. So everything in this album is all black, and I love the inside. It's got the quote, "Wait till you're announced. We've not yet lost all our graces." And I just think this is such a simplistic side. I don't know, I just think it's so cool. And in the back, she just has the track list. I love, it's just such a mood. It even matches my nails. I actually discovered Lorde around the same time that I discovered Kacey Musgraves and Lana Del Rey, which I'm gonna get into in a minute. I really feel like this album, Lana Del Rey's albums, and Kacey Musgraves albums really got me into more chill kind of music. Before that, I didn't really listen to anything other than like today's hits. And now I feel like these kind of branched my horizons a little bit. Like I know Lorde and Lana Del Rey and Kacey Musgraves all have top hit songs. It really introduced me to the world of kind of slower, more vibe style music rather than boppy top hits type of music. And I love Lorde's voice. Like she has an amazing voice. The other thing I really like about this album is that you actually get an entire album booklet. So this is not common, and at least the ones that I have. This is one of my favorite things. Like when I was a kid and I would get CDs, I would pull out the album booklet and I would just read it front to cover. I would look at all the pictures, and she's just got like the coolest artwork and photos of herself. The other thing I really like, again, when I was a kid, I love that she has all the lyrics. I love that because when I was a kid, I used to go through and I would literally listen to songs over and over and over just to get the lyrics and write them down in all my notebooks. I love that she included all the lyrics to all of her songs. It feels a little bit more personal when there's an album booklet in there to me. I think I feel like you get a little bit more of an insight into the artist's mind and their thought process creating the album, especially when you look at the photos and stuff too. I feel like it just really adds to it, which is another reason why I really love Taylor Swift's albums, because I feel like with all of her albums, she's really done a good job with that. Really made you feel like you were part of the process of it. Got to get a little bit behind the scenes of it, which I think is cool. Okay, so my next album is Lana Del Rey, and it is the Born to Die album. This is probably my favorite by her. I love all of her albums. I actually want more of her albums on vinyl. I mean, her voice is already amazing, but on vinyl, oh my gosh, it's such a mood. It's so soothing and like soulful, I guess. I don't know, it gets you right to the feels, and I love it. But the Born to Die album, I love all the music on there. I also love that you get a little bit of artwork, and then she also did have all the lyrics on the back of this insert for the vinyl. I just love when you get the lyrics included. I'm just one to like sitting and reading through all the lyrics and listening to the album from start to finish. So I love that that was included. But the other thing I really love about this album, I love these roses that are on the vinyl. So here, I'll take it out of the sleeve so you can see. I just think that that's so cool that it just has the roses on it like that. Definitely all of my favorite Lana Del Rey songs are on this album, and this is also the album that Summertime Sadness was on, which I think is probably what most people know by her. Like the first, I didn't actually, it's so funny because when I heard Lana Del Rey on Pandora the first time, back when I listened to Pandora all the time, I didn't even know that she sang Summertime Sadness for a really long time. I did not realize it's the same artist until I heard this whole album, and then I heard it on there and I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. There's so many good songs in this album. I love Born to Die. I love Video Games. I love Carmen. I love Summertime Sadness. I love This Is What Makes Us Girls. It has such an interesting voice. It's just so good on vinyl. Sounds like her voice was made for vinyl. So I definitely want more albums of hers for my collection. The next album I have is by Shania Twain, and this is her newest album, The Life's About to Get Good song. So I listened to this album a couple times on Spotify before I actually ordered it from Urban Outfitters. The only thing I don't like about this album is it's got 2 vinyls. You have to flip it over a lot to listen to the entire album, which I don't like having a 2-disc vinyl set. I don't know if that's the right wording, but I like when there's only one side to flip over to listen to the whole album, because I feel like otherwise you spend a lot of time like getting up and flipping the album. I do love that she has an insert here with all the lyrics on it, and it's got this really pretty cloud print on it, which I just think follows with the black and white aesthetic of this album. Love the inside. And then the insert is actually the same thing as what's on here. So it's a really cool mood. She's just so pretty too. I wasn't sure how this album was going to sound on vinyl, just because her voice is very like, I still feel like it's like kind of country sounding, but it was really a really powerful, uplifting album. It was good. It didn't skip or anything. That's the other thing that I'll get into in a minute too when I get to the Taylor albums. Can't stand when I buy a vinyl and it skips. But good album, moral of that story. So this is, I would say honestly, this is probably one of my top favorite, and definitely my top 3 of my vinyl collection. This is his, I don't know if it's like plus or like edition. I don't know what he actually calls his album, but it's this album. album. This is my favorite Ed Sheeran album. I discovered Ed Sheeran around the time that I discovered Lana Del Rey. Pandora was just on point that year when I was listening to it. I got exposed to so many awesome artists that I'm still in love with. I want all of his albums on vinyl. I decided to go with this one when I ordered it because this is like the one album that I would say I love every single song on the album and know the words to it and just can have the best time listening to it. The other thing I love about this vinyl, this is the first one I got that was kind of a unique type of a vinyl. So it is bright orange. How cool is that? It looks so awesome on my record player too. I love the color. And I believe Taylor Swift's New Lover album also is colored. I think it's pink and blue if I'm not mistaken. So I'm super excited for that too. I definitely will get colored vinyl, but I will no longer buy a vinyl if it has a picture on it. Love this album. I love that I know all the lyrics to it. And again, I love that it's only two-sided. It's only one vinyl record, so I don't have to flip it more than once. And I just like his voice on vinyl is just so soothing. It's just like a hug in music form. Last but certainly not least, I have my Taylor collection of vinyls. 1989 vinyl was actually the first vinyl I think I ever got as part of my collection. I love 1989. It is one of my favorite albums. I will say though, on vinyl, I don't love how this sounds. It's still good, but it's not my favorite out of the Taylor albums that I have. But I love that she included all of the Polaroids that came in the 1989 album. So I actually have the physical Polaroids of these that came with the CD version. I love that she put them in here. I just was so excited when I saw that. I sat here and I looked at all of them and all the lyrics are in here. Like, it was just such beautiful artwork. I was obsessed. This is probably my favorite art-wise and design-wise. I love this one the most. Just don't love that it's two different vinyls. I like everything to be on one vinyl. And then I also have Fearless on vinyl. All of the Taylor albums are two vinyls, and I don't know if it has anything to do, I don't really know the inner workings of vinyl, like if they can only put so many tracks on one side. I don't really know the details about that. I've never really researched that. All the Taylor albums do have two vinyls, which you're just flipping it a lot more frequently. It just kind of bugs me, but it's a very small thing that bugs me. I do have the Fearless Platinum Edition. This was one of the first shows that I went to for Taylor, and it just has such a nostalgic feeling for me. Like, listening to this album, it kind of just takes me back to high school. It brings back a lot of memories for me. Favorite songs when I was in high school, I would play over and over, like Jump Then Fall, Fearless, 15, Love Story, You Belong With Me. Such a nostalgic album for me. So this is one of my favorites in that, to me, this is like what I think of when I think of old school Taylor. I know that she had other albums, like the album before this and all of that. This was the one that really got me hooked on her. I did love songs from her first album, but I wasn't really like obsessed with her like I am now until I had this album. So it's a very nostalgic album for me. I listen to it when I'm just wanting to feel all the feels and throw it back a little bit. And then I have Reputation. I would like to say that I love that she used the newspaper kind of print that she had in the albums as the vinyl cover insert. I think it is so awesome. It's a really good quality too. It's not paper like how most of them are, which I think protects the record a little bit better. So I do like that, but the only thing I don't like about this album is the pictures on it. As beautiful as it is so pretty. I love that it's on there, but it skips so much when I'm playing it. Such a bummer. I looked into it to see like if it was something like I bought a faulty vinyl or what, but I've read that vinyls that have pictures on them like that are kind of more for collector items rather than actually like regularly playing. It is really beautiful. I love the pictures on it. So she did have all of the artwork printed on the vinyls, but I just don't like that it skips. You can't really listen to the songs as smoothly because I think almost every song will skip a little bit. That's not how you want to listen to it, you know? Still a great album. I still love it, but I definitely don't listen to this one as much on vinyl. Faster paced album than a lot of the other vinyls that I have, so it makes listening on vinyl just a little bit, I don't know, I feel like there's just a lot of things on this album when it was originally recorded that you don't really get on the vinyl. I don't feel like you hear it as well. It just doesn't really exist on that sound level, like sound quality level on a vinyl. My favorite vinyl, this is probably my absolute favorite that I have. I know I said that about a couple of them, but this is probably my number one, is Red by Taylor Swift. This is, I don't want to say if this album is my favorite Taylor Swift album. I don't even know if I could pick one, but it's gotten me through so much. I think it is the most underrated Taylor Swift album. So many songs on here have just got me through feeling some kind of way, and hearing it on vinyl, it almost sounds like it was meant to be on vinyl. Like, it sounds so good on vinyl. And then the artwork again is just beautiful on the inside. Like, I love that it's fully printed and you've got all the photos from the Red era as well as the lyric. I just think it's so awesome. Definitely my favorite album that I have by her on vinyl 100%. That is my current vinyl collection. I do have an entire wish list on Urban Outfitters that are just vinyls, and I have an Amazon wish list of just vinyls. I have a lot that I want to add to my collection. I will say though, I think waiting until I know that I love the album before I buy it on vinyl has been really helpful for me, because I feel like my collection is really just albums that I absolutely love. I know that no matter what, I always have something, like whatever mood I'm in, I have an album that I can listen to on vinyl. Just really experience the music that way. I love it. So I would definitely, I wait a little while before I buy an album on vinyl to make sure I really love it and want to continue listening to it. All these albums I have are albums that I, with the exception of maybe the Mumford & Sons one, all albums that I've listened to for years or that I absolutely love and know all the words to and just get super into. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you're not already, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and click on that bell so you get notified every time I upload a video. I'm uploading a video every single day in the month of October, and as of today there are only a few days left in the month of October, which is crazy to me. Be sure to check out the description box. I have the entire YouTuber playlist linked below if you want to check it out, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye guys.